people, and welcome to the Organised Nonsense podcast. My name is Kevin Smith, and I'm here with Christian and Reidy. As usual, this is fucking second or third time we're trying to do it. Maybe it'll work this time. Let's hope.
The Preston's cast, I guess.
Woo. How have people been?
Mm-hmm.
How have people been?
Yeah.
I've played games and not much else.
I've been playing some Hollow Knight because that was on
Is that
sale.
any good?
Yeah, it's fine. You know,
Yeah.
you're into it.
It's good.
It's a 2D platformer, isn't it?
Metroidvania.
Yeah, close enough.
If you're into like sort
into what?
of not really knowing where you're going, but occasionally when you do find out,
What?
Well,
did none of that come through? Yeah, guessed it. I said
You
some
said
stuff about
Hollow
Hollow
Knight was a
Knight, and I guess
Metroidvania.
it didn't come through.
So anyway, well, Reidy's dead. What was the first thing I did? I bought WarioWare DIY, and I made some really bad stuff.
Which one is that?
That's the one they made last before Game & Wario.
Right.
And I made
Well,
some
Game
really...
Warrior doesn't even count though.
No, it has micro games, so it
It
technically
doesn't
does count.
in one mini game.
Yeah, but you can play them outside of it, I think.
No,
No, because the gamer part
it does
is...
not have WarioWare in the title, and it is not primarily made up of microgames. So,
All right,
Not
fine.
right.
That's not a Wario.
All right, fine. DIY is the last WarioWare game before Gold.
Gold, yes. No,
What? What do you mean?
the DIY one.
No, Snap didn't. I know for. I don't think Snap came last.
I'm pretty sure it did, because the DSi launched. When did? Okay, the DSi launched in 2009. So yeah, I guess it was DIY.
Yeah, DIY came in 2009. It's great. You know, I haven't spent too much time on it, but they didn't slack off of like the amount of shit you can do. You can do a lot. Like they put the fucking effort into just how to explain how the concepts work, how AI scripting works, and it's also Wario who's getting taught how to make video games from Penny. It's really good.
Yeah.
That
seems out of character though. I feel like Wario is not a student by trade.
Well, how else is he gonna learn how to make the games?
He doesn't learn how to make the games. He gets someone else to make them for him.
But how did he make the games in the other Wario?
He didn't make them.
He did
make them. He conned his friends into making them.
Yeah, no, he conned his friends into making some of them. He made the rest himself.
No, he conned his friends into making all of them.
No, but then why would his face be on half of them? He literally, like, he says at the end of...
Yeah,
well, he said he was going to pay them to, and then did.
Like, that's the whole thing. Like,
no,
he's
but listen,
on all of them because he conned his friends into them.
No, but he made some of them himself. Like, straight up, in the first WarioWare game, you see him on the laptop making them, and he gets tired because he realizes how much he has to make. And then, like, at the end of the game, he says...
Yeah, but he does that before he finishes making one of them.
No, they're like 8 seconds long. But, like, no, because at the end, at the end, he says, my games are the hardest yet, referring to the fact that they are his games. He made them.
I feel like he'd still call them his games even if he didn't.
Yeah,
make them.
He didn't because
he's taking ownership.
No, because listen to me. In Gold, he doesn't refer to them as his games. He only refers to his games as his, and Cat Nana's as Cat Nana's, and etc. etc. So he's not stealing.
Wario's gotten a lot better about crediting his friends over the years.
No, he actually got worse because in Gold he actually tries to run away. Fucking. Fucking hell. Shut up. But yeah, DIY, I made like 2 games, and the paint.
That's more than Mario's made. So
The paint app, the application they make you use for like drawing objects and backgrounds isn't like it's kind of Mario Paint-ish, but the DS quality for like drawings, as you might recall, is not great. So they're pretty
Well,
shitty looking. And the micro games that are built in, for the sake of helping you learn how the mechanics of building a game work, everything in the game is built with the in-game tools.
oh yeah. Well, that's that's the same for Mario. I feel like.
Meaning a lot of like the micro games aren't very interesting at all because everything's done with the touchscreen, and it's a lot of very, very simple things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in part because they have this thing where you can copy objects and assets from other micro games that have already been made either by you or the game itself. So like that's how I got the F-Zero music in the micro game I made because it was in another one. But yeah,
is this like the what's it called, the mini Mario versus Donkey Kong game?
What?
The one where you made games where you could make levels.
You didn't make games in that, and
there was one where you made levels or something.
No.
Yeah, there was. I remember.
Yeah, but also that has nothing to do with making games, as in like straight up making a game. They're short, but they're still games. Like you make your own objects, you control the AI for them, how they react to other objects, the music, everything.
Right.
I also went on Project 64. It's not Dolphin emulator. I went on that for a while, because I found out that for some reason my laptop can't run DS games well, but it can also it can also run GameCube games well.
It can run them well? How well?
Decently, really. Like to the point where I played Melee and fucking that worked well.
Do you still have your? No, you don't have your GameCube adapter, do you? You got rid of that.
Yeah, I have to get a new one for Switch.
Wait.
I did that. I got another WarioWare game. I got WarioWare Mega Party Games, which is really good. It's just sad that you can't do a lot of it with friends, and I don't have many friends. So.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, none that are here, and none that will come over to my house to play a GameCube game.
No, okay. Wait, Christian, yeah. Why are you using a GameCube emulator when you have a GameCube that you do nothing with?
No, because it
runs faster.
And also because like, how am I gonna get 4 people plus to play a WarioWare game on my laptop? I need like 4 controllers.
Yeah.
And I know ye have GameCube controllers. Let's see. After that, I got Yakuza Kiwami 2. Because of course.
Yeah.
It's weird. Didn't get that. I don't care what anyone I follow on either Discord or Twitter says. It's better than the original 2. Much better. I can't.
So
these are remakes of them, is it?
Kiwami 2 is a remake of the original 2.
Yeah, okay. I thought these were like prequels or something for some reason.
Like, I'm still annoyed at what they did keep in Kiwami 2. Because, like, there's still some dumb parts, but it's a lot less strenuous. You know, there's no... Like, one annoying part that I had to deal with in the original 2 was there's this stealth section where you're carrying someone who's dying on your back, and you have a time limit, and if any guards catch you, you get sent back.
Yep.
You remember that. That's not fun at all. In Kiwami 2, you still have to do that, but it's a lot easier, and the guards... there's not nearly as many guards, and their AI for actually seeing you is pathetic. So I got it done on my first try without even thinking about it. But yeah, just a lot of things from original 2 that were annoying that they just fixed because they were annoying. But, you know, as you know, for some reason, a lot of people decide to think, oh, hey, 2's a masterpiece. and this game that makes all the problems better is a heresy and sacrilege towards the fan base who I don't fucking know. It's just I don't see why people see original 2 the way that you hear. It's like it's not the best game in the series.
Because they
And
played in
it's-
2008.
There were better games out in 2008. I'm being perfectly
yeah, but
honest.
there weren't better Yakuza games out in 2008. Well, in English at least.
I mean, oh yeah, you hear that survey that has questions
Yeah,
about Ishin
yeah.
and Kenzan.
Uh-huh.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, that would be amazing. I would fucking.
I
get that on the
do
spot.
not see Kenzan happening.
They can get no because like nowadays it's like okay, for historical purposes they can get away with having the child prostitutes in there. Yeah, that's
Not what I meant. I just meant it's a PS3 launch game. I
Yeah,
didn't
but they
even
can-
know about that.
yeah, but they remade Tree for HD on like the Japan thing. We're getting that soon. They can do that. They
Yeah,
can
but that's canon. So like they had to do that.
Well, yeah, but people want Kenzan. They've been like begging for it, and Ishin, Ishin, we're definitely getting because that's just the PS4 game. They might do like a digital
Yeah, it's a
re-release.
PS4 launch game.
Yeah, but like, it's Kiryu with a sword. Dude, everyone wants that.
Why does he have a sword?
Because it's Japan, fucking samurai,
The Edo period.
samurai
Oh.
ages and shit.
Don't you know about the Edo period, Kevin?
I do, but I didn't know this was in it.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're like spin-offs where they take the character models and just give them different stories. It's weird.
Well, I guess that wasn't what they did with Kenzan, because in Kenzan they were all new models.
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
'cause-
Kenzan was just straight up like
yeah, because 3 wasn't out yet.
yeah, Tree came after Kenzan, and arguably Kenzan's a
Mhm.
better game.
So are these just Yakuza games but set in the Edo period?
Yes.
Yeah, it's essentially like from what I've seen,
Isn't
it's
Ishin
essentially.
isn't like a murder mystery?
I don't know. I know more about Kenzan than Ishin.
I'm pretty sure Ishin is like a murder mystery, and it basically uses the entire like cast of 1 to 5, but like there's a lot of like little twists because they are different characters. They just
Yeah, they know like fucking.
reflect them.
I think like Kenzan is especially like that because I know I've seen like fan translations of those cutscenes. That guy is not Kiryu. He looks like him, but his behavior is
Mhm.
something else.
Yeah.
Fucking speaking of samurai, Animusha.
Yeah, that's
Good
weird.
shit. I
What's
did
this?
not know how to react to that.
I've heard this before, but I have no idea what it is.
Okay, Animusha is a PS2 series of games that Capcom made. They're not too popular, but they're great, and no one ever expected them in a million years to make a port, not to Switch especially, and not to PS4, and it happened. They did it.
Yeah. Capcom really bringing it all out. You know?
Don't. How did he get the act? Because the guy playing the main character is an actor, I think. I don't have any idea how they managed that.
Yeah, I know. Maybe there's something in his contract back then that they found.
Yeah, but they're sure as hell not getting John Reno's contract for Tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I'm getting that day one. But yeah, Kiwami 2 is it's better than 6 in my eyes. It's like it straight up just plays better, and they
Got that jump
streamline
kick.
the fucking double, like he just flings his legs in the air. Yeah, but it runs better. It plays better. They fixed all the upgrades so that it's better streamlined. Like what would be 5 upgrades in 6 is now 1, and they changed a good bit to make it work. Because there were like 50 different upgrades for your stomach. There's like 10
For your stomach?
you get experience from eating in 6, and they went a bit too far with like causing you to use that XP to spend money on your stomach, so you could get more XP to spend more money on your stomach. It's dumb. And then into Kiwami 2, they were like, okay, we'll just make it so that you can just upgrade it all at once instead of just doing separate things for each individual part of it. You're both muted, so I don't.
That time was an accident for me.
For God's sake. Oh, jeez, he's really bad. I guess she should have probably mentioned that she was ill.
What's it called?
I wasn't before. I just started doing the podcast and then violently.
Violently, you say?
Violently ill.
In that case, don't mute. We need to get that on recording.
No, that's awful.
I mean, do you have better ideas for what to put to do for the next hour?
I'm gonna get an allergy tablet and then we'll decide.
Okay, well, I'll keep talking then.
Yeah, you too. Just talk away.
I'll find a way to talk about something. I suppose I could do more like fucking talking about Kiwami 2, because 2 is considered the best game in the franchise. That's bad because it's not. It's a PS2 game from like 2007. It's antiquated to hell by today's standards. It has a lot of problems. It's very boring. It has load screens between every other fight, and it's just slow to go through. A lot of people try to reference the story more than the gameplay, but the gameplay is also really boring because you start with every move from the first game, so when it comes to the second game, you just don't need to bother with anything.
Okay, so this is a dumb question, and I have no right to ask it, seeing as you've been talking about Yakuza for this long. But what kind of a game is Yakuza? Is it just it's like a beat 'em up action RPG, is it?
Yes, that's just it. It's like you
Nailed
go
it.
around,
Fucking nailed it.
just get into a fight, and you just change from walking around the city to just beating people up, and it's not too difficult to explain. Oh yeah, I did play Shenmue. Holy fuck! Why did I forget about that?
The original?
I mean, actually, no. That's not a hard thing to answer. I forgot about it because Shenmue's a bad game. Holy fuck. I mean, it is.
I mean, it looks okay. Like
It's terrible.
Like I've only seen clips, but it looks like it looks like
hours. God,
like
it's so
my
bad.
biggest issue with it, from what I've seen, is the fact that the main character is supposed to be like 14 when he looks like 24.
He's 18.
What? He still looks way older.
No, he's not. He looks fine he looks like an 18-year-old. That's not the fucking problem. The problem is that the game is worthless, because like it's a fucking setup for a sequel that may or may not happen.
This, Christian.
It's a fucking setup for a sequel that may or may not happen. It's 15 hours long and nothing happens during it. Like you can start on 2 without even knowing what happened in 1, because one story is this. Ryo is coming home to his family's dojo because his family has a dojo. He lives near it. He goes in and he sees these strange Chinese people beating up his dad, robbing his dad, killing his dad, and beating him up.
Hate it when that happens.
The person in question who killed his dad is a man named Landy, and Landy is Chinese. He's a Chinese man. He walks out, goes into the black limo, and he drives off. And Ryo is just sort of beaten on the floor next to his dead father. And then like a few days later, he wakes up and he's like, okay, I'm going to find the person who killed my dad. He doesn't. Just spoiler warning for the entire game, he does not find the person who killed his dad. Instead, he finds out where the person who killed his dad might be, which is in Hong Kong. And so he goes to Hong Kong. That's it. That's the entire game.
How does he get to Hong Kong?
By boat. By boat. He takes a boat to Hong Kong.
All right.
It's the 80s. You can't really just fly over to Hong Kong and try.
Yeah, but like a boat to Hong Kong from Japan seems like it would be relatively expensive.
He's not paying for it.
Because of course, why would he be paying for it?
Well, he tried to, and that's like the last third of the game is him trying to pay for a boat to Hong Kong, and it's really annoying. And at the end of the day, he doesn't even pay for it. He doesn't even get a ticket. He just finds someone who does it for him. It's so annoying. So it's like, okay, guess nothing I did mattered, because like the game is split into like, I guess 3 thirds. The first third is him trying to find.
Shenmue time.
The first third is him trying to find the black car that the man who killed his father was in. So he talks around the town for a good few hours. It leads him to because like this is annoying. I need to explain this because of how annoying it is. So like first off,
here we go.
His investigation begins with him asking about who saw the black car. And you go around the town, you ask as many people as possible, but not everyone because you're on a time limit. People, when it gets to night, you can't talk to anyone at all, so that's a waste of time. So he goes around, talks to people, and he finds out that the black car, the person in the black car got an argument with a guy named Tom, who is the best character in the game.
He is.
And Tom doesn't know anything, but he suggests that you go find Chinese people. So your job for the next hour is to check around.
Just go around all the Chinese restaurants.
Go to Chinese restaurants and ask them about Chinese people. And then in the Chinese restaurant, he says, "Okay, we don't know who this person is. Check more Chinese places." And so you check more, and then you find this old Chinese man who says, he sounds like he might be from Chinese mafia, but if he's from a cartel, maybe sailors know. So you go asking for sailors. Now, the annoying thing about this is that sailors only show up at night at bars, but only some bars, not all bars. So you're going to be wasting your time a lot.
And you have to walk all the way to the town every day.
Oh yeah, no.
I heard that.
Which is like genuinely a 10-minute walk.
Yeah, no. There's like, well, you can warp in the PS4 version where like from your house, when you leave your house, you can warp. You can't. No.
To take the 10-minute walk.
No. It's still annoying because you have to walk back. You can't. You can avoid walking out to the town, but you can't walk. You can't warp back. For some reason. All right, so like, but I want to explain because like the time limit in Shenmue was dog shit. You have more than enough time. It's December to April. But an annoying factor is that you can't end a day early, regardless of whether or not an event happens at a time that's passed already. So if something happens during the day and you're in nighttime when you find out about it, you can't end the day early. You have to wait until 8 o'clock before you're allowed to go to bed. I don't know why. Also, if you are in day and something happens that's supposed to happen during the night, you can't speed up time to wait until night. You have to do something. But there's nothing to do in Shenmue except buy gachas with your money that you have too much of. So you're just wasting time. Like, I just watched like at least 50 LPs trying to get through that game. Because you just waste time. You have nothing to do but just wait for things to happen. So you go to the sailors. Back to this. You go to the sailors, and the sailors tell you, all right, there's this guy named Charlie who knows things in the underworld. And you go to Charlie, and Charlie won't tell you shit. He sicks some guys on you, and he runs off. And you just go home dejected. You've essentially wasted your time because when you get home, your sort of mom just comes up and says, "Oh, okay, there's this letter I found belonged to your father." So essentially, nothing you've done for the past few hours has meant anything at all. The letter is the thing that gives you the lead. But you can't even read the letter at first because it's written not only in Chinese, so you have to run around looking for more Chinese people again. You have to literally go looking for Chinese people in this game twice. So you go around looking.
Most of the game.
You go looking for Chinese people, the same Chinese people you've already talked to, and then they tell you, okay, we can't read it. It's some sort of weird Chinese.
So you find. So after you find them, they don't even. They can't even.
No, they
read
can't.
it anyway.
They can't read it because some of them have already forgotten how to read Chinese because they've become nationalized
What?
Japanese, as they say. So you go around and you find this little Chinese kid getting beaten up by these adults for some reason, probably racism. And like you go through horrible combat because the game's combat is one of the worst I've ever played in my life. And the Chinese boy introduces you to his Chinese grandmother, who explains that the Chinese on the leather isn't just Chinese, but it's reverse Chinese. And you need to.
What?
And you need to.
What is reverse Chinese?
It's basically just all the characters are written backwards. So she goes to a mirror and reads it, and it explains that a friend of Rio's father was trying to warn him about the coming trip with the letter. And so Rio tries to go to the harbor to meet this man who's in a warehouse for some reason. They don't explain what this man does in the warehouse. He's just in one.
I have to walk the dog.
Oh,
So I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
I probably will be able
Podcast
to
still
keep the
going on.
conversation. I'll probably keep the conversation
Yeah,
going.
yeah.
Don't worry.
Just open Discord on mobile.
All right. So at this
Number
point,
2.
at this point in the story, Shenmue has done nothing of value except find out that maybe someone who could help him is in this harbor that's full of warehouses. And on the letter it says, go to warehouse number 8. So he looks around and he goes to warehouse number 8, but the guards won't let him in because he doesn't work at the warehouse. So you have to sneak around the back, go in the warehouse from the top of the
This
window.
just seems like a game of mild inconveniences.
Yes. No, it gets even better because you go into warehouse number 8 and it's the
Ooh.
wrong warehouse. Guess what? There are 2 warehouse number 8s. One in the old district and one in the new district. So you have to go into the new district. But when you go into the new district, the guard kicks you out immediately. He's like, no, you don't work here. You can't come into this district. So Rio's like, okay, I'll come back at night. But rather, you have to wait until night for this to happen. So you have to wait around in front of the warehouse until 8 o'clock doing nothing. You can't do anything. And for the record, you have to take a bus to even get to the warehouse in the first place, and the bus is about as convenient as bus Erin is in Ireland. And yeah, take that what you will. And you have to. And there's no way to walk back to your house. So if you want to go back to your area or your house to do something, you have to walk back to the entrance of the harbor, wait for a bus, take the bus, and walk all the way through the town and all the way back to get to your house.
I mean, at least they're dedicated to being true to life.
It gets even worse. Okay, so like, it's at night. Rio's like, okay, the guard, it's dark. I can sneak in now. And you're forced into a stealth section. If you fail the stealth section, Rio gets kicked out. And get this. He gets kicked out. He says, I'll come back tomorrow. And the clock rolls forward a day and he comes back. You lose a day if you lose the stealth mini game. An entire day.
Does what relevance do the days have?
You have a time limit to beat the game.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
So you.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Yes. It makes no sense. He just can't sneak back in at that moment. He says, "I'll come back tomorrow," and he does, and the counter just goes down another day. So if you're really bad at stealth, you're fucked. Of course, the stealth's really bad in this game anyway because the control is about as stiff as you can possibly get. It's tank. So when you move left, you don't move left, but rather you just turn Rio in a direction so that he can move forward.
Right.
So you go to the warehouse at last. You find warehouse number 8. And Master Chen and his son come down to greet you. He's just chilling out in the warehouse for some reason. I don't know. And they never explain who he is or what he does. And he comes down and he tells Rio that the letter was meant to warn him of the coming threat to his father because his father had a valuable item that Landi wants, and that there's another valuable item hidden in the same house. And he tells Rio, get that item. And so you lose a day. The game just skips forward. And you're now on this incredibly cryptic treasure hunt for something that's in your house. And you just search the entire house and have fun because, like, you know how I mentioned how this game constantly inconveniences you?
Mm.
It does it again because your job now is to search the house. But, alright, so, like, that takes forever. So I use the guide because I'm not an idiot. So you
You
find
really
a key.
still on this one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, are you walking
do live
the
from the
dog?
I am, yeah. Coming to you live from the field in my estate where I walk the dog.
Live from heaven.
Wait, do you just walking around a field?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
You're like a
Big
newscaster.
field. Dog loves it.
Alright, so, along with our new
Is my
reporter...
audio quality better now? Because it
No,
might be.
Actually, it is.
God, it's
Okay.
not. It's even
But
worse.
whatever.
No, but it's more
an aesthetic.
Yeah,
it's
okay,
more-
it's
yeah,
Now I am
more
coming to you
consistent.
live.
It's more
So-
consistent. You're not cutting out at all.
Good,
Mm.
good.
Alright. So, along with our new newscaster, Reidy,
Uh-huh,
alright, so Rio goes into the basement.
That new house they built near the field, the lights are on. I've never seen that.
What you say?
The new house by the field, the lights are on. I've never seen that.
Uh-oh.
Odd times out here.
You might want to get out of there before you get shot.
I had to cross the road.
Okay, so like Rio goes into the basement, but he won't move in the basement anymore. He has to get matches. So you have to go into your house and search for matches again. You go into the basement and you
This sounds
search.
like this game does not sound fun.
Yeah, no, it's not. That's why. That's because that's not. That's because it's not.
To watch, it's entertaining. As someone who has
because-
watched about a third of it.
Yeah, it's entertaining to watch. It's horrible to play. But like, okay, so he does this stupid puzzle which involves pushing shit, and you get the other mirror, and you go to Master Chen, and Rio's like, okay, where's Landy? Help me. And he says, Landy's probably in Hong Kong by now. You might recall I mentioned that earlier that Landy was in Hong Kong. And Rio says, okay, help me get to Hong Kong. And he says, no, you shouldn't focus your life on revenge. I'm not helping you get to Hong Kong. Fun fact, this is the guy who later helps us get to Hong Kong. He's just not doing it now.
Okay.
He's just not doing it now.
He needs some convincing.
Okay, so Rio decides, all right, I need to find a way to get to Hong Kong on my own. So he goes out and goes to like a fucking travel office and asks for money.
A free ticket to Hong Kong.
He asks how much a ticket's going to cost. It's going to cost him 200,000 yen. He can't pay that though, so he goes out and he talks to Tom, and Tom basically just says, "Get a boat. It's cheaper." And so he goes to this really shady travel agency to get a boat ticket. They stiff him, so that wastes even more time. So Rio decides, all right, there's this gang who's connected to the Landy who are working at the harbor, so I need to infiltrate their ranks by working at the harbor. So Rio goes and gets a job at the harbor for the last third of the game. And this is the most memorable part of the game for me, because instead of doing anything interesting, you have to work at the harbor, which involves driving a forklift, picking up crates, and driving them to a warehouse. And you do this for 5 days, at least. Because you
I
can
don't
do
know how much I've
you
missed
could
quite a lot of this. So I don't know
you
how
could-
much you've overstated that the majority of the gameplay in this game is you walking.
Yeah, no,
places that you've walked before,
I mentioned
and
to
then walking
Kevin.
them again.
I mentioned to
And
Kevin
that's it.
how you have to walk to town to get to the bus stop,
Yeah.
and you have to
Yeah,
wait
yeah.
at the bus stop for a bus to even take you to the
Yeah.
harbor in the first place.
Mhm.
Yeah. And you go in and you have to do a 9 to 5. You have to drive this forklift for 5 days straight, at least. Because if you miss any of the story triggers in the harbor, you have to do it for more days, which is what happened to me before I broke out the guide again and decided, fuck this, I need to end this now. Because there are these story fights that you can miss in the harbor if you don't know what you're doing. And I didn't even mention the combat. I'm not even going to, because that's another can of
How many
worms.
fights are there?
There are approximately 10 fights, maybe less in the game. At most, there
I
are
thought
10.
there were like 4.
No, there are 10.
I thought there were like 4. Okay.
And there's a battle near the end of the game where you have to fight 70 men at once.
The 100-man battle.
No, it's a 70-man battle. 70 men.
Yeah, but don't they like pitch it as 100-man battle for like the entire game?
Hey, that's from Berserk.
But like, okay,
That's
so
a
you work
famous-
at the harbor.
That's a famous thing from
I don't
Berserk.
get it. What's from Berserk?
You do the most boring forklift job for 5 days straight, and then this girl who is an NPC who you've probably not talked to at all for more than once at this point.
Oh yeah, she goes missing.
She gets kidnapped.
Yeah, she goes. Yeah, I know this part now. Yeah.
She gets kidnapped by the gang that you're trying to infiltrate, and you have to play this shitty motorcycle game to drive out to the harbor, because at this point Rio just steals his friend's motorcycle and gets going after her. And
I saw this video essay about Shenmue that made a big deal out of the fact that you were now going around the town at night at this part.
you can go around the town at any point in time. It's just if you do it for too long, you don't get your fucking allowance from your mom.
That's true.
It's stupid.
Yeah.
You can't. And no, because even worse is that like Shenmue warps home at 11:30, but you know the time that your mom complains to you is at 11. Why doesn't he just warp home at 11?
Yeah.
But, okay, so you steal the motorcycle.
I was listening to another podcast this week, Sacrilege, I know, but and they mentioned that like the key difference. There are many differences between Shenmue and Yakuza, despite the association that people have just given them for some reason. But I think the biggest
I
key
mean,
difference
yeah, like as in they do seem similar.
is that Kiryu is a person that people see in the street and they're like, I should fight that man. Whereas no one would ever actually want to pick a fight with Ryo because he's just some little fuck.
That's kind of a lie though, because Rio gets
a
into,
nice,
like,
lovely boy, and there's nothing you can really do with him.
Not-
Kiryu is also a nice, lovely boy, but he doesn't look like it.
Yeah, he doesn't look like it.
Okay, so to cap this off, he rescues the girl, but not not without a cost. He now has to fight the son of Master Chen in order for the gang to leave him and the girl alone.
Yeah.
So he goes up to Master
I
Chen.
thought Master Chen was his friend.
Master Chen is his father's friend who won't help him get the boat.
Yeah, that's what
And
I
now
meant.
you must defeat Master Chen's. Now you must defeat Master Chen's son in battle.
For the gang?
For the gang, because even though they let because this is stupid.
So is
They
Master
let
Chen's son in the gang?
No, his son is not in the gang, but his son is fighting against the gang. It's not really established what Master Chen does.
He's just also fighting the gang, like independently of you.
Yeah, independently of you. They don't explain what Master Chen does or why he's fighting the gang. Something about trade routes, but they never explain what it is. They never do. And okay, so you go into battle against Master Chen's son. You don't have to win this battle, as I learned from the guide, which is good. Yeah, you can lose. But you do have to win the following 70-man battle where the entire gang goes after you. And it's such horseshit. I just spammed buttons until I won because the combat's so bad.
Yeah.
And I'm not even kidding. I just tried to get away with what I could get away with, and I did because it's so bad. And so after the 70-man battle, Master Chen comes out of fucking nowhere and it's just like, oh yeah, thanks for defeating the gang for me.
This
I'll
Master
fucking-
Chen guy
We've had
seems like
Daredevil
a
season 2
bastard.
Master, he is a bastard because he's like this fat old man who just doesn't do anything, and then like only now is he like, oh, you and my son defeated the gang. Thanks for that.
But didn't his son just do nothing?
His son sort of helped you with the fight, sort of. I don't think he really does, in my opinion.
He throws you some drinks.
All right, so
Whenever
like
you're tired, he just tosses you a nice water.
So like Master Chen is like, okay, I appreciate what you've done. I still don't like the idea of you throwing your life away against this man you can't possibly beat in a fight. But I'll let you go on a ship to Hong Kong. And it's at this point that a random person from the gang who's shown up maybe twice engages you in the final boss fight. And it's such horseshit.
Wasn't Shenmue supposed to have like originally planned to be like 7 games or something?
Yep. Yeah.
21 chapters, I think.
Sort of something
It was
like
20
that.
Yeah,
then it got
something
down
like
to
that. anyway.
12, I think. And who knows if we'll get 12.
Said 3 wasn't even going to be the last game.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so right. You get into combat with this random person who's the final boss. He's horseshit. Like, he just counters half your shit for no reason. So I just spam buttons until I won. Again, because there's no combat. It's just a shitty mini game you play, really. And you win the fight. And you just go on the boat to Hong Kong and the game ends. That's it.
Yep, Shenmue 2, baby.
That's it. That's the entire game. Shit. Yeah. That's exactly what I've explained.
Like a 20-hour prologue for Shenmue 2, which I hear is the good one.
Yeah. I've essentially wasted my time playing it because I just went through 20 hours of horseshit to put Rio on a boat to where the second game is. Yeah. And even funnier.
The real secret here is that the second, third, and fourth games all take place entirely on the boat.
No, they don't. Actually, no, because they that's the funny thing. I heard that there was supposed to be a chapter dedicated to the boat that they cut out.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not even kidding.
This really is like Berserk.
But yeah, it's such horseshit. This just I should have just skipped 1 because nothing happens in it. Not a single thing happens in 1. You go out, you go on a boat, and that's
it. With a broken phone with dog shit on it.
What?
A cracked phone with dog shit on it.
Is it your phone?
No.
Is that why the audio quality is so bad?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to really hammer it in that I've wasted my life. I've wasted 20 hours of my life.
Shenmue 3 out this week next year.
I've literally, in the most exact definition, wasted 20 hours of my life.
But you can play Shenmue 2 now, I guess.
No. After 1, I'm gonna fucking...
No, you have to play Shenmue 2 now.
At some point, but not
I'm
now.
not saying you have to. I know you will. I know you.
I know.
Yeah.
I know I will too, but not now. Not now. Not after that shit. Not fucking after that shit. That was, and like I didn't even get into the combat. It's the worst thing in the world. It's.
Yeah, because isn't there like a whole like you spend a fuckload of time training.
No.
And you don't.
No, listen.
It encourages you to spend a fuckload of time training.
Yeah, that's the best part. The training system. Yeah, no, that's the best part. The training system in Shenmue is utterly fucked because your moves at the beginning leave you super open to attack, and supposedly using your moves more will make them better. Supposedly, because I've never noticed this at all, no matter what I tried to do. And for some reason, you'll also gain XP for your moves even when you do nothing. It's never explained. And like, the combat is like... No, because that's the best part. Is like, there are these like fucking Street Fighter-esque moves where you do button combinations to pull off an attack. But
Because keep in mind, this is the man who made Virtua Fighter.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. But the camera keeps changing, so you can't do a button combination if the direction you're pointing in is constantly changing, because Rio will just lock on to whoever he feels like. There's no lock-on button or anything. He'll just attack wherever. So you can't do any of your special moves if he keeps changing the direction you need to do the special move in. So I couldn't do anything for any of the fights but just smash square and hope I won. And then most of the time I did, because like
This truly is a revolutionary video game.
because your health bar in this game refills sometimes on its own and sometimes when you deal damage. I've never understood why it happens. Like
does it just start going back up for no reason?
Every guide I've found on the game is completely inconsistent with how the health regeneration works.
Isn't that what happens in real life?
No, because sometimes he'll heal on his own, and sometimes he won't heal unless I attack the enemy, which is
but it's realistically inconsistent.
No, because I don't heal when I hit someone. I don't heal when I deal damage.
Oh, well, you got bad fucking luck, mate.
Yeah, I think you need to get that checked out, Christian.
But and it's even worse because they want you to spend time on this. They tell you, they encourage you. One of the only things you can spend money on is getting more moves, which you can't use. You can't use any of these moves. Oh God! There's like 3 things to spend money on in this game. You spend money on your moves, which you can't use. You can spend money. You spend money on arcade games. You spend money on arcade games, which are already in Yakuza 0, so there's no point. And I think they're just straight up a port of the Yakuza 0 versions anyway.
In this version, I guess, maybe.
And you can spend money on gacha. That's it.
Oh, wait, no, the real question is, does it have the problem that Yakuza 0 Space Harrier has, where it locks in the middle of the screen?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
It's identical. I'm not even kidding. It's the same version. And
does the Dreamcast version not have that problem?
I don't know. I
wonder.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can buy food, which you'd think would be used to heal yourself. You know, you can go into a shop and you can go onto the shelf and you can buy chocolate. And I was like, oh, cool! I can finally get something I can use to heal myself.
You're not talking about the song Hedgehog Gacha Farm.
It's about as useful. It's about the food items are about as useful as the gacha because they are just exclusively 3D models for you to look at in your main menu.
Yeah.
You can't eat them. You can just buy chocolate to look at.
My food collection.
That's it. You just buy chocolate to look at. That's all. Just nothing to do.
Expired food.
There's just nothing to do. You know, this is a game where you have to wait around a lot. You have to wait. You have to wait constantly for things to happen, but you don't have anything to do during that time. So you just put on a Let's Play or something because that's all I did.
Yeah.
It sucks. I hate it. Fucking. Oh yeah, you know what's even funnier? There are these just random parts in the game where you're going to sleep and Rio, instead of having flashbacks to the death of his father, as a man who's lost his father probably would, he has dreams of the girl from Shenmue 2.
Right.
That's the girl who's on the cover of the box only shows up in his dreams.
That'd probably be true in a game about my life.
I just don't understand anything about that game, and I don't. Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm continue the conversation. I'll be in a few minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay. I can do that. I can do that.
Oh,
It's
please tell me you're near the end of this fucking
rant.
Yeah.
It's
This is one person's week, and we've been talking about it for nearly 45 minutes, I'd say.
Oh, hold on. I need to move for a second because my phone's going off. Wait.
Looks like it's just me now. Hello, people. I don't know what I'm saying. I know no one's listening. Maybe Christian's listening in. I don't know. I know no one's listening to the recording anyway. Christian, you listening? Buddy? Alright, no response. Such is life. I wonder if I just did a podcast like this where I kind of just sat down for an hour each week. No plan, but just recorded for an hour. I wonder what that would be like. I mean, you'd probably get some times where it was really interesting, but the majority would be terrible because, as anyone who pays the vaguest amount of attention to this podcast knows, I speak the least on this. Well, I've been getting better recently, but you know yourself.
I'm back.
Oh, thank God. I was just talking to myself for 2 or 3 minutes.
This is a complete fucking disaster.
Not even kidding. I was just talking to myself for 2 or 3 minutes.
I do that often too. Yeah. I suppose I can complain about something some more. Let's see what else I can complain about.
Oh my fucking God. Here we're going again.
Hey, you enjoyed it, don't lie. Fucking. Ah, God. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the best part. No, not even like within the game itself, but because of I made a Twitter post because the HD version of the game is
it's called a tweet, Christian. It's called a tweet.
All right, a tweet.
This has been well established.
Okay. I was playing the HD version of the game because what other fucking version would I play? The Dreamcast one? That version of the game is super bugged. So there was a point in the game where I went to bed, and as Rio was getting back up in his pajamas, the Rio who had yet to change his clothes into his pajamas was in front of the bed. There were 2 Rios on screen. But the best part about this is that I recorded this, because you can do that in the PS4, and I sent that onto a tweet, and I was like, super sarcastic. It was like, Shenmue's a very good game, guys, along with, a video of an incredible glitch from the game that I just found. You'll never guess how many people didn't watch the video and replied to my tweet saying that you're right. Look, I'm gonna fucking go on the tweet now. I'm not gonna say the names of the guys, but I got a bunch of fucking responses saying Shenmue was great, and they didn't even watch the video I had just sent. So yeah, okay, let's go down here. Fucking, let's see which one said it. Which one said it? Which one said it? I know one of them fucking said it to me when I was doing this. Where is it?
Yeah, hello.
It's just the stupidest fucking shit. Okay, so all right, Reidy, you know my sarcastic tweet about Shenmue, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one where I said Shenmue was a very good game, guys, along with a glitch video, and here's one of the responses. Of course it is. That's why so much of us were pushing for remakes and re-releases. Can't wait for Shenmue 3. And it's also I might as well add that the exclamation marks. There's multiple exclamation marks. There's also fucking. There's just people liking that tweet and commenting on it, and this game looks great. It was great at the time. Stuff like that.
600 your videos got 632 views.
And 30 likes? What the fuck? This is the most liked tweet I've ever made in my life, and it was sarcastic. It was an insult. Oh God. Yeah, I just got a bunch of random ass Shenmue people. I think there's an official fan.
Christian.